Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to bring people from all across the country to talk about things we can do right here in New Mexico.
You know that love. I hope you know that love. I hope everybody's had that where it's just head over heels, impossible love where you can't believe you feel so good.
All that and more right here on New Mexico Rising. The new year always feels like a fresh start with promises of a new you. Someone with better habits and new intentions probably do better than me right here. But as everyone knows, who has ever kind of like set a goal knows, life gets in the way of progress, and this is especially true when it comes to our financial fitness. You know, with tax season upon us, financial expert Natalie Torres Haddad is joining us live from LA to kind of help us take on the next step towards owning our physical fitness. Good morning, Natalie. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
All right. January's over now. Is it too late to kind of set a financial goal for 2024?
Absolutely not. It's never too late to start planning your financial goals. And I know for many people, sometimes avoiding your finances throughout the year, it might be something they do, but your tax seasons is the time that you have to face your finances, right? And it's also a great time to evaluate your financial situation and putting a game plan in place so that way you can make the right money moves for 2024. And remember, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So be patient with yourself.
And tax season, it's officially upon us. What are some common mistakes that we should avoid when we're trying to do our taxes?
Yes, the most common mistakes that we see results from not being organized or filing properly. Maybe you're missing thousands of dollars on the table because you're not putting in those tax write-offs, the deductions, or claiming that you've had a new life change, like maybe having a baby or getting married. All of these areas can bring you a bigger tax refund, which we all want, right? And I really recommend considering setting up a direct deposit. And if you're working with a great partner like Chime, where you can have your direct deposit linked up to your account, then guess what? You can get your money 6 days much earlier. So all those things can really play in place when you want to pay off your debt.
All right, you know, that is the best feeling when the return hits, especially get some more cash in your pocket. Hopefully I don't owe anybody this year. How can we use this tax season to like springboard our fiscal fitness though?
Yes, well, I'm going to advise to use it wisely and invest in yourself. But let's be honest, some people use it as they think of it as free money. So they end up spending it on things that really don't bring value to their lives. And so, you know, it's okay to buy a few things, but I really want you to consider using that extra supplemental money into your emergency fund, or maybe putting it into paying off any debt like credit card debt you might have. Or maybe your goal for 2024 is to improve your credit history. And what better way to do that with a secured card? And Chime does have the credit builder card that can really help you manage and, you know, looking at those options of building your credit history along the way. So making those investments are really, really powerful for you this year.
And for many, tax time is kind of stressful, especially if you haven't done them in a couple of years. I'm not naming any names. Yes, I need to do it. I am bad. I screwed up last year. How can we make this process a little easier? And yes, people like me do screw up. And people are like, of course people like me to screw up, Dan.
It's more common than you think, Dan. So once again, I talked about being organized, right? So you don't miss that filing date. But, you know, having everything in one place, like the designated folder, having your W-2s, your 1099, all those documents in one place will help you not only make sure you don't miss that deadline, but also less stressful for you, right? It could be overwhelming. And I always say, if you can create a more like spa-like environment, having your tea, having your candle, maybe some relaxing music can make the process a lot more enjoyable. So you're not alone in it.
Let's make tax day spa day. All right, where can we go for more information about all this, my friend?
Absolutely. You can visit chime.com/taxes. There's tons of free resources on there for budgeting and basically kickstarting your financial progress for 2024.
Thanks for joining me this morning, Natalie.
Thanks for having me.
In our quest to conquer the challenges of severe hemophilia A, groundbreaking gene therapy emerges as a beacon of hope. Today, we're honored to have Dr. Tammy Singleton, a leading figure in the fight against this rare blood disorder. She's here to share her insights as the Chief Science Officer for the American Thrombosis and Hemostasis Network. She is here with innovative treatments that promise to transform some lives. Welcome to the show, Dr. Singleton. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So what is severe hemophilia A?
Absolutely. So severe hemophilia A is an inherited condition where there's a deficiency in a factor protein, specifically factor 8, that helps to clot blood. This again is inherited. Sometimes there's a family history. Sometimes it's a spontaneous mutation, but patients cannot clot normally and they have a lot of bleeding episodes when there's the absence of factor 8.
So what does a typical patient treatment journey kind of look like?
Absolutely. So patients living with hemophilia A can have bleeding episodes into joint spaces, ankles, knees, elbows, shoulders, hips. They can also have life-threatening bleeding episodes. So to prevent those bleeding episodes, patients must infuse with an IV intravenous factor concentrate. So that medication goes directly into the bloodstream. There's no pill, there's no liquid that you can swallow. And many patients, as we speak, have an opportunity to infuse this therapy at home. Again, this can happen once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, every other day, and maybe even daily for some patients.
So how does gene therapy for severe hemophilia A actually work?
So gene therapy is actually very interesting. So gene therapy is a one-time single IV infusion that infuses the functional gene that's missing from patients that are living with hemophilia A. When patients have the presence of this functional gene, there's an opportunity to have factor 8 that's normally missing secreted into the bloodstream in a more continuous way. When that happens, patients often do not have to have those regular factor infusions to prevent bleeding episodes. It is still, however, possible that patients with a traumatic episode or maybe with a major surgery may need to still have to infuse, but there can be a significant change once that functional gene is present after the IV infusion with gene therapy.
So what benefits can gene therapy have on the lives of adults with severe hemophilia A?
So when you're 18 years of age and older living with severe hemophilia A, when you receive this single one-time IV infusion with the supervision of your hematologist, you can then have an opportunity potentially to not have to have those IV infusions that you plan every other day, 2 times a week or 3 times a week to prevent bleeding episodes. You can really have a reduction in bleeding episodes that's very similar to what we call prophylaxis, that regular schedule. So it can be something that can be very impactful in terms of decreasing the burden of infusions for patients living with severe hemophilia A. We're looking at safety and efficacy with this product in patients who receive hemophilia A. And the specific product for patients living with severe hemophilia A is called Roctavian. So Roctavian, you can go to Roctavian.com for more information. You can also talk to your hematologist or your Hemophilia Treatment Center if you want more information.
Dr. Tammy Singleton, thanks for joining me this morning. One more time, where can we go for more information?
Roctavian.com, Roctavian.com, Roctavian.com.
Navigating the journey with Polycythemia Vera, Gary shares his personal experience from the initial bewildering symptoms to finding a treatment that fits his vibrant lifestyle. Alongside him today, we have Dr. Brandi Reeves, assistant professor of medicine at the University of North Carolina, who will shed light on this rare chronic blood cancer. Welcome to the show, you two.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Dr. Reeves, can you share us what polycythemia vera is, and what are some of the typical symptoms that go along with it?
Sure. So polycythemia vera, or PV for short, is a chronic blood cancer that causes the bone marrow to produce too many mature blood cells, especially red blood cells, but also white blood cells and platelets. And this leads the blood to be too thick, similar to a car engine with old motor oil, and that can lead to problems. So while some PV patients have no symptoms, most experience some degree of fatigue or itching, especially with a hot bath or shower, burning or tingling in the fingers or toes, as well as concentration difficulties that patients often refer to as brain fog, and feeling full after just a few bites of food. The other big thing is that PV substantially increases the risk of stroke, heart attack, blood clots in the legs, lungs, and abdomen, and over time can progress to scarring in the bone marrow called myelofibrosis, as well as change into a really aggressive blood cancer called acute myeloid leukemia.
Gary, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, including your diagnosis journey?
Yeah, so I've been an educator for 24 years, also an avid hiker. I was diagnosed in December of 2020 with ET, which is a different type of blood cancer, but in the same family as polycythemia vera. I went for more tests in Boston. I found an MPN expert, and she did some more blood tests and a bone biopsy and determined that it was polycythemia vera.
Dr. Reeves, could you share a little bit more about like treatment options for PV?
Sure. So the only cure we currently have for PV is a stem cell transplant, which is generally considered too risky since the overall survival is about 13 years. And so with PV, we then really try to reduce the risk of blood clots while improving the MPN symptoms and not progressing this to myelofibrosis or acute leukemia. And so for all patients, we recommend a baby aspirin. And then for all patients, we recommend keeping the hematocrit less than 45%. And that can be done with therapeutic phlebotomy like Gary had initially, and or we might need to add medications to reduce the other blood cell counts as well. And so the preferred frontline treatments for PV patients who need more than just phlebotomy are a mild chemotherapy pill called hydroxyurea or the injection under the skin called ropeg interferon alpha, which is also known as Besremi, which is what Gary is taking. And the big difference between these two medications is that while they both can reduce the blood cell counts, only Besremi can target the source of polycythemia vera in the bone marrow. And which treatment option we ultimately recommend depends on patient factors such as age and other medical problems, in addition to patient preference.
And Gary, how are you feeling now with your current treatment? And what do you want others to know that might be living with PV?
I feel great. If you're living with PV, make sure you do your research and you have an MPN expert. You can go on to the MPN Research Foundation website. You could check out the Besremi.com website if you're interested. There's also a guy that lives with polycythemia vera. He has a newsletter called PV Reporter. That's helpful. But keep a positive attitude. There's treatment options out there, and cancer is a powerful word, but you don't have to let it define you, and you can move ahead.
And Dr. Reeves, what are some of the side effects that we've seen with Besremi?
Yeah, so the most common side effects with Besremi include flu-like symptoms like tiredness, weakness, fever, chills, muscle aches, joint pain. We've also seen itching, sore throat, and then we watch closely for signs or symptoms of depression, anxiety, autoimmune issues, or heart problems. And while any of these things can happen, they're generally pretty mild, and most people tolerate the drug very well.
All right, so where can we go for more information about all this?
One of the best resources is mpnresearchfoundation.org, and also Leukemia Lymphoma Society, or LLS.org.
Gary, Dr. Brandi Reeves, thank you too for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much.
Back at it again with some simple crafts to make your lives a little bit better. It is the fabulous and wonderful Megan Murphy, who always kind of like comes to the show, brings these good ideas that are sort of life changers. And today, I know like craft fairs and our downtown markets or grower markets and all of that. I know a lot of people are starting to like lean into selling and making their own products. And I see this. This is perfect for that. Megan, you got to tell me all about this.
Yay. Okay. So it's called a Cricut. And the Cricut Joy Extra is the newest version. It's the size of a loaf of bread, super, super compact. But what it is a smart cutting machine. So I like to say, sort of think of it as like an X-Acto knife on steroids. It cuts in a way you never could, with precision and awesomeness. And it cuts through 50 plus different materials. So there's an app. It's the Cricut Design Space app. And you can use that app to come up with your projects. So maybe you're going to cut a design for full color stickers or custom cards or tote bags, hats, water bottles, you name it. You can make it using a Cricut. And you're right. So it's awesome for Valentine's Day, but also for small business owners. I'm an author. When I do a book mailing, I make custom fully charged stickers using the Cricut. I made a sweatshirt. I made a jean jacket for my book launch. I mean, it really is an affordable, simple way to make custom creations.
I have a friend that's a KJ and does karaoke, and she has t-shirts and mugs, all with her little logo on them. I'm like, how are you doing this so easily? She's like, I got this Cricut. And I'm like, this is great.
The Cricut. Well, and that's the cool thing. So my daughter makes stickers using the Cricut for her computer. So like you can cut those stickers and put them on the back of your computer. Once you have a Cricut, you're like shocked by all of the uses. So my son's basketball team, they got plain water bottles, like the plain plastic water bottle. But I made each of their names on the Cricut, right? You just cut out their names, and all of a sudden it's a team on the bench with like customized water bottles, and it looks cool, and I feel like mom of the year, right? Like it's so easy to do.
So what are some of the what are some of your tips or ideas that you could give people with making this thing? I know I'm going off script on all this, but I'm just like actually a kind of a fanboy of this device, and
which I love.
I want to learn more about it. I just need one.
Oh, it's like this will be your favorite new toy. I mean, it is absolutely epic. And that's the thing is like customization and personalization is so awesome right now. And like, so for Valentine's Day, like what says I love you more than something that actually took time and thought and energy to make versus like, you know, a card you picked up at the grocery store or flowers you picked up at the gas station, right? Like it's personalized, it's custom. It really says like, I love you, I thought about you, and I made this just for you. And the thing about the Cricut is it is so simple. Like you just use this Design Space app and you can come up with endless projects. And I think the secret to a great project is making it personal. Stop thinking about what you're making and think about who you're making for. What do they love? What's their favorite color? What are they into? What's an inside joke, right? They love narwhals. Make them an I love narwhals t-shirt. Like what's that thing? You know that person that you love best. What is that gift or that project that's a reflection of what's uniquely them?
You just spent more money out of my pocket again. Okay, I'm gonna go buy one of these.
Yeah, but this is like money saved, right? Because it's like you get the machine and then you save yourself time and money on presents and projects. Like, I'm telling you, like
No, you're right.
This is a game changer.
Megan
It's
Murphy,
a game changer.
always bringing the best things to the show. She always brings that yay personality. That's what it is, right?
Well, I'm swallowrific, you know? I mean, that's just where I'm at.
All right, Megan, where can we go for more information about this and also follow you on social media?
Okay, so you're going to go to Cricut.com, and it's CRICUT.com. Think a chirping cricket plus cut cricket. I love that, right? The inspiration was a cricket and that precise chirping. And I'm at Megan B. Murphy, MEAGHAN, B. Murphy on social.
All right, we'll chat with you again soon, my friend.
I can't wait.
Step into the future of driving with an exclusive tour from the Chicago Auto Show, where innovation meets the pavement. Today we have Brian Moody, Auto Trader's executive editor. He's our guide to the latest in automotive excellence, from groundbreaking reveals to cutting-edge technology and sustainability. You know, Moody has the inside track on what's next on the road ahead, whether you're eyeing those sleek lines of the latest models, or curious about the next leaps in electric vehicle technology, or if you just want a car with a matte finish. He's going to give us a heads up on the future of driving. Welcome to the show, Brian. How are you, buddy?
Thank you. I don't want a car with a matte finish. I want it to look blue and shiny with a light interior. That's my jam.
Blue and shiny with a light interior. All right, that sounds
Done.
good.
Sign me up.
What can consumers expect to see at this year's show, my friend?
Lots of different things. One trend is the trend toward hybrids. I think a lot of people are realizing that electric cars are great in specific applications, but they may not be for everyone. So on the road to that, or to make use of the system how it works today, hybrids are becoming kind of a trend. One of the cars in this booth that we're at, this is the Kia booth, by the way, a hybrid minivan. That's a great application of that technology. It's the Kia Carnival. And if you have a family and you want to save money on fuel, a hybrid is a good way to do it.
So not every vehicle is an EV or an SUV this year?
No, thank goodness. We don't want everything to be the same. We want variety, right? Like for some people, electric cars work great and the cars themselves are great. If you charge up at home, great, you're gonna love it. But that doesn't work for everyone. In fact, most new car sales today, and of course used cars, are gasoline powered. Electric cars make up about 8% of the market. They'll probably get up to 15% by the end of this year. It's not for everyone yet, but hybrids and plug-in hybrids are a way that you can save money, use less fuel, and still have a car that works for you in your current situation.
So what could we be driving in the not so distant future? Anything like self-driving vehicles? How's that?
Yes, some cars do drive themselves. For example, there's a Tesla Cybertruck over here at the show. It has the technology. Now, it doesn't drive itself. That's poorly named or whatever, but some cruise control programs, Nissan has one, Chevrolet has one, where it will drive on the freeway and steer and brake for you, right? So that's on the road toward self-driving. Not fully self-driving, but some automated features.
So when you're talking about electric vehicles, what are some of the new advancements in the technology? Are they going to be extending battery? And I know you said hybrids are probably the better way to go, or range extenders. What are some of the things that you're seeing that they're even looking about more?
Well, more hybrids are going to come to the market, more plug-in hybrids. So a plug-in hybrid works like this. You plug it in for a certain time, it will go on electricity only. When that electricity is used up, it switches over to a hybrid. That's something to look forward. Here's one thing, we're in the Kia booth that Kia has thought of. One model, right, the Kia Niro, it's only one model, but you can get that one model in 3 different ways. Fully electric, plug-in hybrid, or hybrid. And remember, cars that just say hybrid, HEV, hybrid electric vehicle, those cars make their own electricity. You never have to charge it up.
So what are some of the cool things also at the Kia booth that since you're right there, what are some of the cool things that the Kia is providing us?
Yeah, there is cool stuff. The Kia Telluride is amazing. The Kia EV9 is an electric crossover. The car behind me, the Kia K5, is a compact sedan that's been slightly updated this year for 2025, more high-tech interior. But here's one of the cool things. Similar to the van, the powertrain is the story. So it gets more horsepower, more power, but no longer with turbo. So this is a normally aspirated car that gets better efficiency. I think that's something to look forward in the future too.
I'm a huge fan of Kia, honestly. My first car, I'm not my first car, but my first reliable car was the Kia Rio, and then followed up by that was by the Kia Soul. I've had Kias for half my life driving, so totally recommend Kia. So that's why when you're saying Kias, I'm interested. What do you got?
Well, I think if people are ignoring certain brands because of the past, you're missing out. There's a lot of brands today that you might not thought of as like, oh, I don't want one of those. Kia is one of those. The cars today are much more stylish. They're much more luxurious inside. They do have electric cars, but not all of their cars are electric. So the cars that we just talked about that are behind me, both gasoline powered, hybrid and gas powered. The Kia EV6, fully electric. The Kia Telluride, gasoline powered. So what the point of all this is that like electric cars offer more choice. And as a consumer, you have to do your research and figure out what's going to work best for you.
And what questions should you be asking yourself if you're going to be jumping into electric, hybrid, or a range extended EV, I guess?
Right. So a range extended EV like a plug-in hybrid, you're going to be fine. You can gas up anywhere. For a fully electric car, ask yourself these questions. Is it extra money and is it worth it to me? Where will I charge up? And how long do I typically drive each day? And finally, do I take many road trips? The answers to those questions can help you decide if an EV is best for you. If you charge up at home and you drive within a 100-mile radius every single day, electric car is going to be great for you. If you take lots of road trips, you might want to consider a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid instead.
Brian Moody, where can we go for more information and learn more about what's going on at the Chicago Auto Show, and maybe even more about some of these Kias that you got?
Yeah, so go to kia.com for all the information on the Kias, but also go to autotrader.com for more information on car reviews, buying and selling, tips and advice on how to get the best deal. That's a good one. And also we have a list of the most affordable hybrids on AutoTrader as well.
Brian Moody, thanks for joining me once again, my friend.
Thank you.
In a world where the extraterrestrial and human race collide, Alan Tudyk returns as the lovably lethal alien Harry in the 3rd season of Sci-Fi's Resident Alien. This season, alliances are formed and new threats emerge as, Harry teams up with General McAllister to tackle those blasted gray aliens, all while grappling with his very first and quite stupid human emotion, love. We got Alan Tudyk here to talk about the new season of Resident Alien. Welcome to the show, Alan. How are you, buddy?
Thank you. I'm great. I loved your intro. That was excellent.
All right, let's talk about bringing this complexity of this character, the behind-the-scenes insights, a little bit of what fans can expect. Over about 3 seasons, your character Harry has shown a little bit of growth. He's gotten a little better, a little kinder, and not trying to kill the people that are like immediately around him right now. So far,
right.
What has been your approach in portraying this like evolution, especially like with these new emotional challenges that Harry's kind of facing in season 3?
Well, it's become easier in some ways. Now that he has emotion isn't so much. we as emotional beings that we are humans, movement has a lot of emotions in it. We react and act. So you could get, or I could get lost in like, am I being too human here? I'm not. Now he has emotion. Now he's in his teenage years, so I don't have to bother with questions of things. It allows for more freedom in reacting to what's happening. And although he's more on the extreme side of things, he does fall in love, like you mentioned, and it is that first love that that love. I hope you know that love. I hope everybody's had that, where it's just head over heels, impossible love, where you can't believe you feel so good. And he has that, and he's such an extreme being. It becomes pretty funny.
You guys work as like an ensemble, especially when you're working with General McAllister and moments with the gray hybrid Joseph. How do you and your co-stars work to create this like dynamic chemistry that you try to bring for the viewers on screen?
That's a lot of that is, the writing that Chris Sheridan and all of our writers bring to the show. And so, we show up, we're like, oh, we have scenes together. But he's always wanted the show to be not just about one alien guy, that it's about a town of people that an alien happens to live in. So we get to play with each other and act off of one another. And now you mentioned, the gray alien that we have, Joseph. He's a hybrid gray alien. He's he came in last season. He's such a threatening guy. And then once we meet him, he's just as stupid as Harry. He's more equipped for handling human interactions because he's practiced, and that's his purpose on this planet, to fool humans into believing he's a human. But he's an idiot, and we get to see a lot more of his special brand of stupidity. And he's very funny. And then the other alien that comes this season, we have a lot of aliens this season. The other alien that comes is played by Edie Patterson. She's the blue avian that I fall in love with. And she's from Righteous Gemstones. A lot of people know her from that. She's one of the funniest people I've ever met. So it's fun.
Alan Tudyk, thanks for joining me this morning. Check out Season 3 of Resident Alien every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on Sci-Fi. And it's always streaming the next day on Peacock.
And Netflix.
Oh, and Netflix. Okay,
crazy. We're gonna stream on Netflix. We're streaming over here. We're getting stuff everywhere. We're doing a lot of just emotions, lots of emotions.
Alan Tudyk, you're a hero. Thanks for joining me, my friend.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
And that is it for New Mexico Rising. Want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, all you got to do is email me. That's newmexicorising@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Just look up New Mexico Rising Television and go to our website. That's newmexicorising.com. Until next week, that was New Mexico Rising.